Hey guys, welcome to Hargrove High Performance. So today we're going to go over a speed and agility program for you guys to use. So this is aimed particularly at field-based sports, so footy, soccer, but can be really effective for even our court-based sports like a basketball and netball. So all you'll need is a band and some cones. If you have a partner, even better. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start our warm-up. So the key thing is with our speed is that we are nice and strong and stiff through the joints, so particularly hips, knees and ankles, very important. So we're going to start off to begin with just some lateral push pattern. So staying nice and low on our athlete base. I want you guys to do 15 of these either side. So we push out, push back in, just try and keep a nice good width from when you push out to when you come back into the shoulders. So the next one will be our monster walks. So the same thing, keeping the width of our feet, a nice strong push to move. So what we want to avoid is staying on the front leg and dragging as we come through. Be really strong, setting your weight and push from the backside. Push to move, push to move. You'll do 15 forward, and then same we're driving. Now when we go backwards, it's the front leg, that's the driver, push 15 back. And the last thing we'll do is our internal, external hip rotations, where the band's above the knee. We get into a strong athlete base, so the feet are square outside the shoulder, knees are bent over the toe, hips are back, and we're going to do 30 reps. Really strong, spreading and screwing. So you see I'm allowing my legs to come close, and I'm pulling the ground apart before I'm spreading, before I'm screwing. And that's really important for us when we start to go into our lateral push movements, that we can get that nice good spread before we screw. So 30 reps in total. Okay, the next warm-up we're going to work into is for the stiffness of our ankle, knee and hip. Like I discussed earlier, getting these positions nice and strong and allowing us to put more force in the ground is what's going to allow you to create more force and be faster. So first things, pogos. We're going to aim anywhere between 15 to 30 reps of these. We want quality. Pogo stick, so it's only the ankle that we're getting movement from. The hips and the knees are nice and stiff. And we pop our way through. So we want to be fast with the ground contact, but we also want a little bit of power there too, squeezing the calf. Once you've done 30 reps forward, you'll do 30 reps backwards. Once you've done 30 forward and back, and again, we don't want to be fatigued with this, so if we're getting tired at 15, we stop, have a little rest, and then you'll do 15 sideways, 15 sideways. You notice I'm not going for distance, just nice and quick, little pops, all about just creating that nice stiff reactiveness through the Achilles, through the calf. Okay, next drill is going to be our skipping. So we're going to skip for height initially and really focus now on projecting through the hip, knee and the ankle. So we call this triple extension. We want to be locked up really strong. And when we're going through the ground, think about driving the midfoot, so you'll almost be flat, but almost here like pop. That's what I like to sort of think about in my head when I'm driving the ground. Pop your way through, pop. Pop and get really aggressive, driving for height. Foot will land flat as we're driving through. So set this up for about 10 meters, but again, we want to try and get as many reps as we can within that 10-meter distance. Okay, next one we're going to skip is for distance. So this is really important as a transfer, as a skill for our acceleration, because it's the same angles that we want to try and drive on our takeoff or our 0 to 20 meter. So with this one, like we did before, hip, knee and ankle are locked in nice and strong. We just punch through, 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 through. And if you've got anywhere up to 20 to 30 meters, make this one a little bit longer so you can get a few more reps in, but we want to try and get as little amount of repetitions in as possible. And that means that we're really going for distance. The less strikes we have, the more length that we're actually getting with those skips. Okay, so now let's work into our speed mechanics drills that we're going to use. These are called a wall acceleration drill. Now, if we don't have a wall, like I said, if you've got a partner, even better, you can just lean up your arms against your stiff partner for your body posture. But when we're doing acceleration work, we want to make sure that we're trying to maintain like a 45-degree angle with the body, or as horizontal as we can when we do these drills, to make it more challenging for the core, but also make sure that when we're driving the ground, we're going in a horizontal, not vertical force reaction. So we're going to set up in a nice strong position. From here, feet are flat, bum squeeze. You'll see I've got a nice straight position from the shoulder to the heel. I'm going to press up through the ball, my toe nice and strong, and I'm going to punch my knee through the wall. So I'm in a nice strong spot. I'm not coming up to the roof. Remember, we're trying to go horizontal, so I'm thinking about finding a spot through the wall to punch. What we're going to do for here is just strong repetitions. Change, punch and change. Change, punch and change. On the punch, I'm focusing on locking the glute in particular, so driving, punching a hole in the ground. And on the way through, I'm focusing on kneeing a hole through the wall. So I think punch the floor, knee the wall as I change over. Now I want you to just do 10 reps either side nice and stiff, focusing on your angles, focusing on the drive. Once you can get that, and we've got a nice, really strong position, start to speed up the changeover, making sure that, again, if the bum's locked, we just start to almost think like a Mexican wave pattern. So we go pump, 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 10 each side, and you'll stick at 20. And that allows you to feel where we want to drive force and get those nice stiff angular positions for when we go into our acceleration. Okay, so now let's focus on arm action. So remember, when we're looking at acceleration, we've got to make sure that we're not tight like we would be on top end speed, 90-90. We still move face cheek to butt cheek, but on the back side, we get a longer extension. And this allows us to get a longer stride length, so the legs will go longer for distance, which will allow us to cover more distance in a shorter amount of time. So for this drill, what you're going to do is set up with your feet square. We're going to go one hand up to face cheek, one hand up to butt cheek. And I just want you to practice for 10 reps, feeling the extension from here. And I'm strong in the torso, and I'm just squeezing that tricep as I pop it back. Pop it back. Cool? Pop it back. Once you've done 10, then we can start moving into actual repetitions, where that same arm will start at the cheek. We go 1, and then back. 1, back, back. And you'll notice as I punch back, it's like one action. It's not 1, 2. It's one really strong, boom, back, back, back. And you'll do 10 of those, and we'll repeat that 10 the other side. Just getting into that nice strong action of making sure, okay, 1, let's get the extension. And then 2, we're making sure as we drive, it's one action back. So as the arms pump, we get that nice, good, strong recall through the trunk. All right, so now let's put it all into place. So we're gonna start with what's called half kneel starts for our sprinting. We should be pretty warm as we've done the wall drills from here anyway. So whichever your preferred leg is that you wanna drive off, that's the one that we're gonna start as a leg in front. If you're unsure of that, I just like to say, okay, first practice, just go up on the ball of your toes and just fall. And whichever leg tends to fall forward, that's generally where you're going to be a little bit stronger off the initial drive. So we can start with that leg forward. So go down into a half kneel position. So I go heel to heel, turn the toe, and then half a turn of the back toe, and then I'll set up from the ground. Now you'll notice there's a big sharp angle at the front of the body here, very, very important. If we set up with the 90-degree angle of the hip back, when I go to push down, my force is up. Remember, we're trying to go on that 45 to drive back and forward. So the foot comes back, and now when I'm driving, the angle is going to project me through and accelerate into the direction I want to go. So load up, big toe, small toe, heel. So strong through the foot. I'm pushing through the middle of my foot hard. Arms start to separate with the long arm action again. And as I drive, focus on pop, pop. So I want you to focus on the first 2 strikes from this drive position. Pop, pop. Cool. And you'll sprint through all the way through to that 10 meter. So I'll do one a little bit faster. And the focus for you guys is the aggressive arms. Let's keep it nice and simple today. Pop, pop, and just rip your arm action. So strong from the ground, hard knee over toe. I'm balanced through the midfoot. Arms start to spread, and pop, pop. Cool, nice and strong. So to start off with, keep the reps short. So we only want about 2 to 3 repetitions with that favored leg in front. If we're feeling really comfortable with it, have about 3 minutes rest and we can have a crack from the other side. All right, let's get stuck into our agility drills. So for this one, it's called a 1-2 stick drill. So I spoke earlier when we did our warm-up pattern about how important it is to maintain that nice low center of gravity and that push to move. So if I go to push to the right side, the left leg needs to drive me. If I push to the left side, the right leg needs to drive me. And that's what allows us to get the most amount of power and strength when we're on the field. So this 1-2 stick drill is perfect to implement that before we actually get into game drills. So set yourself up with 4 cones and they want to be just about hip width apart. And the middle of my feet are going to line up with the middle of the holes of the cones the whole time. What we're going to practice is if you were to label the cones 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're always going to move 3, 2, 4. Yeah, and it'll make more sense as I start to move. When we go back the other way, the cones will then go back to that same position. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we move 3, 2, 4. So your first set of this, you're going to be like a robot, 30 seconds, really stiff, thighs are close, but you're going to focus on the middle of the hole and the 3, 2, 4 pattern. Leg comes up, 3, 2, 4, and you'll stick on the end. And then I do the other way, 3, 2, 4. And you'll notice I step, push here, step, push. So I'm always pushing with that outside leg to get me where I need to go. Staying nice and low, but my focus again is making sure that I'm not missing those holes. I'm hitting the middle, hitting the middle, hitting the middle. 3, 2, 4. 3, 2, 4. And do that for a full 30 seconds to a minute. When you can execute that pattern and making sure we've got the width of the feet right, we'll move on to stage 2. So stage 2, we're going to start to incorporate a change of direction. So rather than sticking on the end, we're going to make sure that we're starting to shift the body, and that stick on the end starts to become a push to move. Again, the focus is on making sure we can keep the width of the feet and a nice strong push position. So just start off a bit slower, and then once you find your rhythm, boom, we're going to start to push out, pop, boom, boom, pop, pop. Cool, punch and don't get stuck on the end. But you see I'm still working at about 70%, making sure that my feet are in the middle of the holes and I'm getting that good rhythm, body starting to change the direction where I'm going. Keep this pretty short, we don't want to fatigue too much. Keep it about 30-second reps. Okay, stage 3 of our 1-2 stick drill is our most advanced variation. That's where we really start to get the stride frequency going and we just start to transition as quick as we can from one side to the other. So I like to treat this drill as if you've got 3 gears. Gear 1 is stage 1. Get your push to move pattern. Now that might last for 5 seconds, might last for 10, whenever you're feeling comfortable. Stage 2, or gear 2, sorry, is a bit more stage 2. So we start to speed things up, the transition from the end fastens. Stage 3, we're just going flat stick. And if you stuff it up, doesn't matter. Yeah, just try and work in for the speed. And then as you go back to your warm-ups on the next session, 1 and 2, make sure that you're trying to fix where those deficiencies might be. So if we go for 30 seconds, I'm gonna start gear 1. Cool, okay, my push to move's good. Holes are good, let's pick it up. Cool, nice and flat. Okay, now I'm just going. Pump, step, step, pump, 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 pump. Cool, and again, don't work yourself to fatigue. Get yourself to a position where it's quality over quantity, but we're gonna aim to try and drive that for that full 30 seconds. Okay, here's the fun stuff. So now let's put the agility pattern into place. So, like we've just practiced from our 1-2 stick, as we start to move forward with this drill, make sure if I'm gonna cut my body to the left, the right leg needs to come outside and drive my body to the left side. If I cut to the right, the left leg has to come out, boom, and pop me and change direction towards the right. What we're going to avoid, and if you film this from the front, you can see the body position. We do not want to get stuck leaning onto that side and cutting off the left leg. Your power will come from that outside leg driving. So you'll see I'll set up in front of the 2 cones. Behind the camera, I've got an orange cone to my right and a pink cone to my left. Okay, so before you make this reactive, just get used to in your own head, have a couple of runs at about 60, 70% where we can feel the outside leg driving to the body. So what I do is I'll just sort of pitter patter through and I'm gonna go to the orange, bang, that leg comes out, quick little decel, cool? And then we'll do the same thing to the pink. So I'll set up, take off, step, step, bang, outside leg pushes, and then pulling up on the cone. Once you're comfortable with feeling that outside leg, now we don't really think too much when we're in the drill. Be really responsive to the reactiveness of what your partner calls. Now, if you haven't got the partner, that's fine. You can just pick which side you want to go to and go there as fast as you can. But again, for true agility, we want to try and make this drill reactive. So if I'm on my own, first one, I know I'm going to go to the pink, that's fine. I'm going to plan my cut to be about in the middle of where the cones are. So I'll set up athlete base, on my toes, go, bang, and then quick feet pull up. Walk back nice and slow. So again, we want to be fresh with these drills. They're not conditioning drills, we're not trying to fatigue ourselves, we're trying to go for really good quality reps. I'll come back, perform the same action from towards the orange cone. Fast feet, go, bang, quick feet, and then we're done. Okay, so that concludes our speed and agility session for today. So important note to take home is to not overthink things. So out of all the little cues that we've set up for today, aggressive arm drive, driving the ground, the popping through the feet, as you work your way through the drills, you're going to find one thing that's going to be a really good thing that you remember that works well for your speed and your lateral movement. Focus on the one thing. The more that you start to think about the different positions of your body, all the different angles, everything else, the slower you're going to be. So let the drills do the work for you, and then when you get into your game sense, just make sure you're just focused on winning the ball. Okay, so make sure you stay fresh for all your drills, guys. Look forward to our speed and agility component part 2. So make sure you stay tuned into the channel, and that will be coming for you shortly.